Hey, Mean Matt here. So, it's kind of a shame. I don't have my WWE Championship belts with me. Um, I could probably. Yeah, there they are. There, it's the Undisputed WWF Championship and the Eagle Skull, or the Eagle Belt. Um, Basically, want to talk about the top 10, in my opinion, top 10 wrestlers that were great in the WWE, WWF slash, but never got to be the WWE champion. Number one is Scott Hall. Now, judging by his record, I can understand why. Scott Hall could have been WWF champion, but for some reason it just never panned out. They gave it to Lex Luger, and well, at that time, if that would have happened though, I guess we wouldn't have had that epic ladder match with him and Shawn. But I could easily, probably would have saw Scott Hall as Razor Ramon become the WWF champion, but then again, he went over to WCW. One of the first guys to actually go over to WCW. So that's a shame, but there it is. Number two is his tag team partner back in his AWA days, Curt Hennig, Mr. Perfect. Maybe not in the 90s, because he was the guy who was Ric Flair's manager, and Ric Flair did have the championship belt, and then they went on to singles. He beat Ric Flair a couple times in a feud, and then he also went to WCW. And then he came back in 2002, which I thought it was just one appearance in the Rumble, but he ended up going to SmackDown for a bit. But then he left, and it's a shame because I would have saw him try to at least go after the WWE Championship. But then, unfortunately, he had passed away. So, and it's a shame because, like I said, he could have been the WWE champion by that point. Number three is Big Van Vader. Now, Vader did come to WWE in '96. I don't know. I think around that time that's where I slowly stopped watching wrestling that year, and I only watched bits and pieces of it. And I did see Van Vader give Yokozuna a broken leg. I remember that. I remember, Vader being in the WWE. He was the WCW champion. And one thing I do want to point out too is, Scott Hall and Curt Hennig did have the Intercontinental Championship, but it would have been cool to see them actually succeed as the WWE champion. But so yeah, Big Van Vader should have been the WWE champion. He was the WCW champion, but it happens, I guess. Number four is Roddy Piper. Now in his DVD he talks about how a lot of people actually talked about how he didn't need the title, You know, he was another Intercontinental Champion. It's unfortunate that he lost it, but there it is. You know, it happens. That's kind of too bad he didn't have it for that long. But there was another guy that could have been a WWE champion. Also, Jacques Rougeau, the guy that Roddy Piper beat for the Intercontinental Championship. Um, that's number 5. Jacques Rougeau was also an Intercontinental Champion. He was also a Tag Team Champion. Very good to see that he was... I don't know where he is now, but he was a great wrestler. Number five is Mable, or Vicera. I know that's just a random thing out there. You know what? I don't know. I don't know what the problem was. I think that, you know, with him being in a WWE at that time, as long as he was, they should have gave him a title shot. It doesn't matter. They should have just given him one. But I don't know how. I don't know if they thought he was that good. Number 6 is Big Boss Man. Um, Big Boss Man was one of the best. A guy that had the Tag Team Championship with Ken Shamrock in the late 90s. And he had the Hardcore Championship. When I used to play with my figurines, I made him the Intercontinental Champion, and that's one thing he should have had. And of course, he would have been a really good tag team, or a really good WWE champion. I actually just saw his a match of his in All Japan Wrestling. So, really, you know, should have, and like, again, passed away before we knew it, before our eyes. Number 7 is Jake Roberts. Jake the Snake Roberts obviously had a lot of demons inside. You know, I think that, and there's an example of a guy that never had the WWE Championship, but also never had the Intercontinental Championship, and that's kind of sad. But you know, he was a champion in other territories. You know, but just never the WWE. So you know, um, but we knew he had some issues and some problems, and you know, just he sorted them out, and there you go. Number 8 was, even though he was the WWE champion for about 20 seconds, I'm guessing, but I'm not sure, it was Rey Mysterio. Yeah, he did win the title, but, you know, under stupid circumstances, they decided to, after he won the tournament, defeat, or go up against John Cena. And you think that Dolph Ziggler was world champion for about a couple seconds, that's mentioned. But then again, with Rey Mysterio, nobody even ever talks about him being the WWE champion. But it was just taken away from him, and I want to see him go back, and maybe if he ever does become the WWE champion again, to win it, to keep it as long for a longer than it was, you know. Um, let's see. Number 9. If I'm not if I can't remember where I am, but anyways, I'll just say I think it's number 9. Um, the British Bulldog, Davey Boy Smith. Yes, another Intercontinental Champion, another Tag Team Champion. I even think he was the Hardcore Champion at one point. And we lost him way too soon. If he was still around, I think maybe he should, had a chance at the WWF Championship, or even now come back and become the WWE Champion. But it's unfortunate that these guys have been taken away from us too soon. And my number one pick, I'm going to say the same thing. That he was taken away from us too soon. And of course, I'm talking about Owen Hart. Owen Hart was one of the best in the business. A great Intercontinental Champion. He was a great villain. But, Intercontinental Champion, European Champion, WWE Tag Team Champion. And it was just a shame that he was taken from us too soon. A lot of these guys that were taking us away from us too soon before they got a shot at the WWE Championship. I know I scrambled on, I know I stumbled a bit. I always do when I make these videos, but there you go. Alright, I hope I made my top 10. If I didn't, I'm not doing this video again. Okay, bye.